What?
It's from Google.
I don't know.
On service.
The Google phone number?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just like a number that y'all can text that's not like my personal number. So that, yeah. Mainly because there are some people that I really don't want to have my phone number.
Nice.
Because then stuff like what happened last week happens. With the Google phone number, I can block people pretty easily. So, oh well.
With this, are there going to be like a lot of definitions that are just really confusing, like there were in stats?
There are going to be definitions and stuff, but I don't test on them like I do in stats.
Oh, that's good.
Just 'cause, like, when we go take notes in stats, we write down these definitions, and like it would tell us what it meant, or like a formula, but it didn't make sense to me.
I think this stuff makes more sense.
Okay.
So, some of them are going to be words that you're familiar with, and their math definition is going to seem very different. So, just be aware of that as well. So, increments, particle moving, from x1, y1 to x2, y2. The increments in coordinates are delta x is x2 minus x1, and delta y is y2 minus y1. All of y'all are in physics too, right? Okay. So basically, this is another thing, like if you, I don't remember if it's in chapter 1. If you haven't seen it, you will. But it's just the change in, okay, it's another way to write it, which is just essentially going to help us get the slope is what this is telling us right now. So then the slope of a line from P1 being x1, y1 to P2 being x2, y2. We've got slope being rise over run. Obviously, this is something you should be relatively familiar with. Delta y over delta x, or y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, so perpendicular slopes, or perpendicular lines. What's true about their slopes?
Opposite reciprocal.
Yeah, opposite reciprocal. Okay, slope is opposite inverse is how I normally say it, but it's the same thing. Okay, meaning if we have something like a slope of 2/3, then the other slope has to be -3/2. Okay, remember if you have something that's, this is slope 2. Remember if you have something like a slope of 3, then your other slope has to be -1/3. Okay, remember that this is technically speaking over 1. I think y'all have done pretty well with that in the past, but just as a little refresher. And what's true about parallel lines? What's true about their slope? Same slope. So M1 is equal to M2. And the only thing is they obviously are going to have a different y-intercept.
We also learned the alphabet.
What?
We discussed the Greek alphabet.
Oh, of course.
Don't you remember when he was explaining what delta meant and all the other things?
Things that I just really don't care about. Guess they're fun facts. Might get you some, if you ever go on Jeopardy, might answer a question right from it, but. So somebody was like, why do you need to know the digits of pi? And I was like, you don't. It's like 3.14 is more than sufficient. And for some people, 3 is sufficient. So, all right. So for an equation of a line, okay, if we have a point like AB, a vertical line is going to have the equation something like x is equal to a, and a horizontal line would be y is equal to b. Point slope form, I think we kind of got into the habit of using this last year in pre-cal when we had to write equations of lines, but it allows us to write the equation of a non-vertical line if we know the slope and a point. Okay, so sometimes they might actually give you 2 points. If you're given 2 points, we can find the slope, and then you can use either one of the points that's there to do point slope form. Okay, so just a reminder, okay, our slope is, actually, I'll derive for you how we get point slope form, okay, just so that if you ever forget it, it's there. It's okay, I looked up and thought it said nonverbal for a second, and I was like, what did I write? Who knows? So y minus y1 over x minus x1 is equal to m. So that would be our slope form if we're given a point, and let's say we don't know the other point, okay? That's the scenario we're given here. So if I wanted to get to the point where I'm in point slope form, I'm going to multiply by this bottom part. So I have y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Okay. Now, this is the form that we have commonly used in the past. It's going to have looked like this. This book really likes, for some reason, to write it as y is equal to m times x minus x1 plus y1 and say that, like, that's the actual formula that they're using. They're both exactly the same. It doesn't matter. But a lot of times their answers will be written this way when they ask for something to be written in point slope form. I'm okay with either. I just commonly use the top one because it's there. But if you're solving for y, I mean, it kind of makes sense to go ahead and have the other stuff on the side. So either one is fine. You can pick your favorite one and use it. It's not right or wrong one way or the other. That's point slope form. Slope intercept form is y is equal to mx plus b. And then the last form is the general linear form. And that's going to be ax plus by is equal to c. And with this information, a and b cannot be equal to 0. Okay, something that's a fun fact about this is that every line, even those with undefined slope, have this form. Okay, sometimes they also refer to this as standard form. This book calls it general form. I don't know when y'all were looking at the book if you kind of looked at it, but it has problems that have a gray background, and in theory those are supposed to be solved without a calculator. I pretty much all year will give you a calculator. There's really nothing that you can't have it for in this class because you get it on the AP test, and it seems kind of crazy to require you to do something completely by hand that you can do with a calculator. So anyways, you pretty much get it the whole year. So I don't really care that much if you use it on a problem that's got a gray background, but that is just how the book is designed, in case you're wondering why some of them are gray and some of them are not. Find the coordinate increments is what these ones say. So it gives you 2 points, -3 and 2, and then like -1 and -2, and it wants the increments, so it wants us to just say what delta y and delta x are. So it's literally just delta x is -1 minus -3, so that's going to obviously become plus, and then that's just going to be 2, and then delta y is -2 minus 2, which is -4. And that's all you have to do for those ones. This book usually doesn't give a ton of problems of each type. They usually only give like 3 or 4. And a lot of times I do the even ones as examples, meaning you only are left with like 2. So if you ever feel like you need more, I can go and pull some more from like online, or that's why the AP book is also good to have on hand. I'll often get problems out of there for that reason. Let's see. The problems like 5 through 8 say let L be the line determined by the points A and B. It wants to plot the points, find the slope, and draw the graph. I purely just want you to find the slope with those ones. So with something like 8, got A is 1, 2, and B is 1, -3. With this, we're going to do the slope. So -3 minus 2 over 1 minus 1. We've got -5 over 0. And what happens if we're dividing by 0? What's true of our slope? Undefined. Okay, which will happen sometimes. 9 through 12 says to write an equation for a vertical line and the horizontal line through the point. Okay, so these are just -1 and 4, 3 is the things. So what would my 2 lines be? So I have this point and it wants to know what my horizontal and vertical line equation would be. So one's going to be x equals something and one's going to be y equals something.
X equals -1, y equals 4, 3.
Yep. This section's really hard if you can't tell.
Well,
It might have been made difficult if you spent a week on it, but
well, I was, I don't really understand. I just did random problems. Like,
yeah.
just random.
I go back and look at my notes sometimes from high school and I'm like, I literally one day was trying to go back and refresh my memory about how to do something, and it literally, my notebook was all example problems. There was no notes in it. And I was like, well, I guess I'm just going to go watch a video because I don't remember how to do this one particular thing. Which I will say in this class does happen a decent amount where I forget how to do something and I have to go look it up. So just be aware that I don't do this stuff all the time because it's calculus and it's not something I use every day. So there will be things that sometimes I might look at it and be like, yeah, I genuinely don't remember. Hold on a second. Let me look this up. Doesn't does happen.
Oh yeah, see, he
More
didn't-
than I would like it to happen, but it does happen.
He didn't know how to do so, but he attempted to do them anyways. And
All right, this one says to write the point slope equation for a line through a point P with slope M. So it's given to us -1, 1, and a slope of -1. So what would my point slope equation be here?
y it'd be like y equals -1 parentheses x minus plus x plus 1, then close parentheses and 1 plus 1.
Okay. And then with one like this, again, all it asks you to do is to put it in point slope form. So this is completely fine. If you had left this one on the other side, that's completely fine. Because it's stuff where you can kind of see things are going to cancel, if you happen to go all the way down and give me that y is equal to -x, that's okay as well because everything kind of cancels. It's another equation of the line. But all you have to do is up to this point here. That's starred. Let's see. 20, write the slope intercept equation. So given a slope of 1/3 and a y-intercept of -1, what's my equation of my line?
Isn't it like 1/3 x minus 1?
Yep. So the next ones are a little, just because it asks for it in general form, it's a little different. But it says to write a general linear equation for the line through the 2 points. So with this, we'll just do 24. We've got -2, 1, and 2, -2. Okay, so to write a general form, especially we're not given like, oh, A is this and B is this, we kind of have to find it. We're going to start by finding the slope, and then we'll use point slope form, and then I'll show you how to just make sure everything's moved to where it needs to be. So slope is -2 minus 1 over 2 minus a -2. So that becomes plus. So that gives us -3 over 4.
And then it doesn't matter which point we use, so
Nope, you can pick whichever one. So which one's your favorite?
that one's
This one?
yeah.
All right. So we've got y minus 1 is equal to -3/4 times, I don't know why I just wrote an m there, x minus a -2, so plus 2.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and distribute this. So y, and I'm going to go ahead and move this 1 over all at the same time. So y is equal to -3/4 x. This is times 2, so that's, yeah. So minus 3/2 plus 1. So the thing about, what?
Nothing, I can't do math, I don't do another one. Yeah.
So, well, let me show you here. There's 2 options. You can either get a common denominator here and add these 2 things together, or if you want, if you don't like fractions, like most people don't, you can take and you can multiply this whole equation by 4 and get 4y is equal to -3x minus 6 plus 4. Okay, and then you can, we need it in general form, so we need to move the x over. So 3x plus 4y is equal to -2, and then you're done. Okay, if you want to leave it in fractions, if you're just like, I really like fractions, totally fine.
Well, for that one I would have, because it would have been easy to like.
Yeah.
One, so one. So
I don't mind fractions, I just know that most people don't like them, so I usually just show how to cancel them and get rid of them. Just remember, if you're going to cancel them on one side, you've got to also multiply the other side by it to actually get rid of it. I think if y'all are given a line, you can tell me what the slope and the y-intercept is just by looking at it. I don't really feel like I need to go over that. Let's see. 31 through 34 says to write an equation of a line through P that is parallel to L and perpendicular to L. So we're going to do two separate equations here. So with something like 32, we've got P is -2, 2, and then L is 2x plus y is equal to 4. So first and foremost, I need to put this in slope-intercept form. So y is equal to -2x plus 4. So my slope is -2. So for my parallel lines, okay, what is my slope for that one? Okay, my slope is still -2. So now I can use point slope form with this. So y is equal to -2 times x minus negative, so plus 2. And then add the 2 on over there for the y. Okay. Then I just need to simplify it. So y is equal to -2x minus 4 plus 2. So y is equal to -2x minus 2. Okay, and y'all don't necessarily have to show this middle step. More so just doing it just for the sake of it's there. But don't feel like you have to actually show that since it's kind of easy math. For the perpendicular one, what is the slope?
1/2.
It's 1/2 because the other one is -2, so opposite inverse, opposite reciprocal, however you want to say it. So y is equal to 1/2 times x plus 2, and then all plus 2. Y is equal to 1/2 x plus 1 plus 2. Y is equal to 1/2 x plus 3. So there's your perpendicular and your parallel one. I'm not really concerned about anything else in this section. So all that to say, since y'all already kind of did some problems, don't feel like you have to go back and do more. If you feel like you didn't understand something, just pick like one odd problem out of each of the little segments, okay, that to look at for that. And anyways, we're going to call it a day with section 1.2 or